Hello again. On Christmas Eve, I went to a carol service in the Welsh town of Brecon. It was preceded by a procession through the town themed on the Nativity story. This included 3 real camels from Gloucester Zoo, together with an ass. The woman representing Mary even had a real baby with her, which was a nice touch. Perhaps inevitably her partner, playing the part of Joseph, was black. To appreciate how weird this was, you have to understand that Brecon is almost 100% white, with a scattering of Gurkha families. There are simply no black people living there at all, nor in the surrounding countryside. The Lord alone knows where they found this black guy to play Joseph, but they must have gone to considerable trouble to do so. I was not all that surprised because, of course, that particular idea, the black man with a white woman, is something of a thing these days and crops up all over our television screens, magazines and advertisements. Obviously, those organising this nativity parade knew that they simply had to have a black man playing the part of the white woman's husband. There was a time, of course, when the idea of what were once called mixed marriages were very shocking, not only in this country but also in the United States. In parts of America, it was actually illegal for black and white people to marry or even have sexual relations. The whole thing was surrounded by all kinds of taboos and myths. There's the idea, of course, that black men are more sexually potent than white men, and this supposedly makes white men feel threatened and insecure by the idea of their wives and daughters falling for a black man. This whole business persisted well into modern times, or at least certainly within living memory. I remember how shocking Spencer Tracy's last film was found to be by some people. This film also starred Sidney Poitier, of course. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner the plot centred around a white girl who reveals to her parents that she is engaged to a black man. It caused a bit of a stir in the United States. I gave a link to the Wikipedia article about this film in the description to this video, and Sidney Poitier and his screen fiancée may be seen in the thumbnail to this video. This was only 1967, so it's not a great length of time ago. Of course, these days it would be more surprising to see a film or television drama which did not feature a mixed marriage of this kind. Of course, there's no longer very much prejudice against the idea of black people marrying white ones. 40 years ago, a survey in Britain found that 3/4 of white people would have objected strongly had they had a relative planning to marry or cohabit with a black person. The most recent survey on this subject, about 3 years ago, found that 80% of white people in this country are now quite indifferent to such a prospect. Nevertheless, it's not all that common. I wonder how many couples of this sort viewers know in real life. In the visual media, though, it seems as though this is the only kind of relationship which is ever portrayed, which is interesting. Since few people care about such things now, and it is rare in the real world, I can only think that those using black actors and models so often for this kind of thing must be working to some kind of agenda whereby they are actively pushing or encouraging interracial marriages, which is frankly a bit odd.